Okay, so what we're going to do today is, with parent-teacher conferences, you know, I I had a lot of questions. Like I met a lot of parents, and I had a lot of questions about like, what's the next step. We talked about the U of I possibility, the engineering pathways thing, but there's so much more than just that. So what's after high school? Like, what can I do? With these types of classes, with the applied tech classes. So that's what we're going to kind of talk a little bit about today, and what we've done in the past. And I think a few of you have participated. We've done this thing called Manufacturing Day, and where we get to go and visit a local manufacturing company and kind of learn about what they do, skills you need to get into the field, jobs, and it's pretty neat. You get a tour of the facility. Last year we went to UPS, which is about 30 minutes north of Sandburg in Hodgkins. They're huge. It's the largest ground transportation plant in the world. They sort all the, how many 2 million packages a day or something. It's crazy. They have, I think it's like 2.5 million square feet. I mean, it's huge. If you've seen it going north, like if you're going to the airport or something, you would pass it. We went there. We also went to, for any golfers out there, I know we got a few golfers out there, Bedinardi, their manufacturing plant, which is in Tinley Park. They make putters. That was really cool to see. So, this year, unfortunately, Manufacturing Day is remote, and they did it like a virtual remote thing that was recorded. So I think it's kind of cool to watch it. It just happened last week. So we're going to watch some of it, and then I want to just kind of show you some opportunities that are out there. Some of you, you got to think about what's your next step. Like guys, turn your cameras on. Like, who knows, what they're doing next, after high school. Like, who has a general idea? Like, some of you are raising some hands. Okay, Damari, what are you thinking?
Like 3D graphic arts design.
Okay, Caroline.
Well, I plan to go to college, and I plan to study architecture and hopefully go into that as a profession.
Awesome. Matas, what about you? Maybe you're frozen. There, Pranav, I saw your hand up. What are you thinking? I know I kind of talked yesterday.
Artificial intelligence, somewhere in that field, and computer engineering.
Yeah, computers. I mean, there's lots of stuff that you guys can go into, and so I want to kind of share some of that today. And we're going to watch some of the Manufacturing Day video, which it was like an hour-long thing. We're not going to see the whole thing, but they talk a lot about CAD in there. They talk about just manufacturing, engineering, all sorts of different fields. So first I want to share, let me share my screen here. Also, I'm going to have you do an assignment with this later in the week. So I'll kind of share that, and just a little heads up of what you want to pay attention to today. Okay, so you should be seeing this. So yeah, so today we're going to take a look at this Manufacturing Day video. Again, this year it was done remotely, virtually, and it was recorded. So we're going to take a look at the video. Normally we would go as, we take our applied tech classes, we go to the actual plant, we get a tour, we learn about it. It's pretty cool. But there's lots of different opportunities and education programs that you can go into. I mean, whether you're going to school, a 2-year school, a 4-year school, a trade school, military, going to work, you got to do something. You're not going to be living at home the rest of your life. So I'll show you some stuff that might interest, some of you. And then your assignment's going to be to kind of take a look at these programs and just kind of, maybe talk about one of them, like write up about one of them that maybe interests you, maybe one of the companies, why it kind of interests you, and, maybe something you might consider in the future. Who knows? So for instance, last year we went to UPS. They have a tuition reimbursement program. UPS hires lots of engineers. They call them plant engineering mechanics. There's actually a program at Moraine where it's a 2-year program that UPS will reimburse you up to 25 grand. So they'll pay you 25 grand to complete that program, which takes care of your tuition. And you're working there part-time and working your way up to a maintenance program. You know, they need engineers and mechanics to maintain all their equipment, to set up the equipment. They need, you know, people that know automation, that know how to, you know, to weld, to, you know, fix things and make sure their equipment's up and running, especially now for the holiday season, which is their busy season. Marine has lots of different tech programs. They have an auto program, and they actually have programs with Chrysler. This MCAP program is Chrysler, the automotive program. They have a program with Nissan, Infinity. They have welding programs. There's also this ArcelorMittal Steelworker of the Future program, which gets into mechanical and manufacturing. They're in Northwest Indiana. They'll pay for your school. They have Moraine Valley has a program with them where it's kind of like an internship program. You take some classes at Moraine, and then you work part-time. And after 2 years, you have a job and, you know, little to no debt. Automation and engineering technology program, that would be most related to CAD and engineering. AET is automotive engineering technology. They have a cohort program, and it's actually free. Like, it's a 2-year AET program that's completely free. You got to apply for it. There's an application process, but if you get accepted into that, it's free tuition. And it's, from what I heard, they're looking for people for that program. They don't have enough. The Engineering Pathways program, which we've talked about, that was the meeting last night, where you do 2 years at Moraine and then go on to U of I. There's several local manufacturers. In the video, the company that's profiled is this Morrison Container Handling Solutions. So they're going to show you some videos, but like in the past, we would actually go there. But they're into packaging and packaging engineering. So, for instance, like this is my kids' vitamins right here. These Oli vitamins. They make equipment to like manufacture this packaging. They don't make the actual vitamin, but they make all the packaging and equipment to produce this. They work with Clorox. They work with Windex. They work with a lot of medical companies and COVID-19 testing equipment. What else? I think they work with Pepsi. So it's kind of interesting that we'll take a look at some of that. And I can show you some pictures from previous years when we went to UPS. So this might be a 2-day thing because the video is an hour, which we're not going to watch the whole thing. We'll skip through some of it. And then we'll take a look maybe more at some of these programs tomorrow. And then Friday, we'll kind of review all of it. But with this company, they'll mention CAD and 3D modeling and engineering. All right, so I'm going to actually, let me stop sharing this. So we're going to take a look at of the video. Again, normally we would do that. We'd actually go there on a field trip. There's some speakers and there. So I will skip through some of it. And, you know, if you see me pausing and moving through, that's why we just don't have an hour. So let me get this started. Okay.
An interesting opportunity for us to explore using these new technologies in order to communicate with each other and to talk and to help connect you high school students to local manufacturing companies, this one being Morrison Container Handling Solutions. Welcome very much. Thank you for being here. Many of you may know we have been doing Manufacturing Day as a region for the last 5 or 6 years. It's become a major opportunity for us to demonstrate to high school students that the Chicago Southland has numerous companies that are building very sophisticated products in which these companies offer careers for you to consider as you develop your educational plans. It's certainly true that manufacturing companies are looking for people to be able to work on the floor, making products using very sophisticated machines that require a skill set, but in exchange offer an opportunity for great jobs. These manufacturing companies, by the way, will have other job opportunities as well. Many of them use engineers that require, college level training. There's also jobs in finance and manufacturing as well. So keep in mind that what these companies offer you is the opportunity to develop skills to work on the floor, but also in other related jobs that all of these firms also have. They offer the opportunity for some of you, many of you, to go have a job right out of high school, particularly the ones of you who are involved in the robotics program or the manufacturing training you do. There's certain, we have seen many high school students get jobs right out of high school. Of course, there's also the opportunity to continue education at a 2-year degree at our local community colleges. Then also here at Governor State University, we have some unique programs that train people for managing and manufacturing companies that you can consider. So, we've done this with multiple high schools over the last 4 or 5 years. It's just the nature of the world we live in that we've been able to go through this format of doing this online. We're finding that all of us are, that these types of online learning opportunities are working well, and it's given us a chance to explore how to communicate with each other. So certainly I want you to enjoy this conversation with Morrison Container. We're going to ask some questions, give you an opportunity to ask questions in the chat. So as you're listening to Allison to talk about Morrison Container and Seth, please think of some questions to ask. That they're here to help you think through what you can do in your career. So this is a chance to talk to people that would provide you with useful and vital information. So great, it's a pleasure to be together. Mike Wilson is a good friend. Some of you are with him, I would imagine. He's been part of this group that we've been doing with OAI and my organization, now GSU, for several years. This is a chance to show you that Chicago Southland has great companies for you to work for. Again, welcome very much. It's a pleasure to talk to you. I look forward to.
You have a question.
Good morning, everyone. What you knew.
That is great. Okay, I'd like to introduce our guest speakers. Allison Wagner. Oops, hang on, I'm sorry about that.
We don't design there.
Doing well. Tell us a little bit about your company.
So it's a little bit of a tough explanation. We are a leader in the packaging industry of automated equipment that produces automated solutions, and they're accustomed to the demand of what our customers need. And the cool part about it is we don't make the containers, we don't design containers, we make the processes of wrapping, filling, and then putting containers into a box, a possibility at a high rate.
So it's kind of fun to see all of the different products that you guys are listing in that chat. So things as far as ice cream or method cleaners or any of those products that are within a rigid or semi-rigid container, we make automated equipment to move it down an assembly line. So we don't make the container, we don't make the product that goes in it, but we make all the equipment that helps move it so that it can get on the shelves for you to purchase it.
So that's fascinating. So talk to us a little bit about what are some of the products that we would see in a grocery store, for example, that your machinery, instead of it being a human being, is taking a product and putting it into a container. What are some of the products our students would see in a grocery store that you would package?
So one of the big ones that she just mentioned is that, since we're on the topic of the Southland of Chicago, method cleaners is a big one that is manufactured in our area. But we go anywhere from Coca-Cola, Pepsi containers. We do a lot of work with the beer leaf cheese out of the Pepsi company. The hand sanitizer as we got into the COVID period with Purell and other items like that. But like Allison had mentioned, anything that's in a rigid or semi-rigid container, such as cheese trays from Sargento, the little snack pack from Sargento, items of that nature that you would see in a grocery store, that frequently come across our projects.
And I think my favorite one is if you've ever purchased the fruit cups or applesauce, they come in, say, a 4-pack. Our equipment will take those 2 different lanes and put them on top of each other so that a human's not stacking them. Our machine will stack them and then put them into a sleeve. So if you've ever bought a 4-pack of applesauce, there's a good chance that Morrison is the reason that became a 4-pack.
Excellent, excellent. So our students on today are interested in manufacturing. Tell us about manufacturing and what does that look like at Morrison Container?
So manufacturing, it comes from anything from even just manufacturing ideas or even getting down on the shop floor in the process of making that happen. And I think the thing that we like to explain to young students who are interested in manufacturing is that there's a technical skill and ability into making our custom solutions. And it's a moment in time to where the education and the resources we have down in the shop are just as useful as the engineer in front of the computer designing the system. So we manufacture all of our own parts in-house. So we have full-time lathe operators, we have full-time mill operators. We have a lot of full-time assembly and field service teams that we would put as a part of our manufacturing team, that all bring a lot of knowledge and education to our systems.
Excellent. So tell us, why would someone want to go into manufacturing? Why are both of you in manufacturing? And by the way, customized manufacturing.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think what's really great about manufacturing from any perspective is at Morrison, we get to make things, and I feel this from our CEO, but we get to make things that never existed before. So there's something exciting about that. And I think the best way to explain that is a recent project that we did with the COVID-19 test kits. So Morrison was lucky enough to be able to make all the automated equipment that is going to sort, fill, and cap a COVID-19 test kit. So within manufacturing, you really do have an opportunity to make an impact on your world. And it's not something that we typically think about or even consider as a part of manufacturing. But when it came to the hand sanitizers or those test kits, we were able to really have a direct impact on helping people in our community. And for me, that's what makes manufacturing such a great industry to be in, is it's not just the ability to have technical skills or have an engineering degree or being able to operate a lathe or do marketing, but we're all working together on products that help make our communities better or safer or cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
And to echo Allison and Dr. Kearns, you showed the first portion of that video that you showed, but the system that the test kit coronavirus. And I think the coolest part for us was to understand that what we were doing on a daily basis is directly impacting what you're going to hear about on the 5 o'clock news that evening. And to be able to have that national impact at a small company in the Southland of Chicago is something that we found really cool. And across the board from other manufacturing companies that we work with, that when there was a demand for toilet paper or hand sanitizer and we were getting into this pandemic, I think that the industry kind of spoke for itself. And every person that we work with, every vendor or customer that we spoke with, it became a team-like environment where we wanted to do what was within the interest of the country and what the country needed. It wasn't about making money. It wasn't about trying to grow our business to tenfold. It was how do we work together in order to make sure that Americans can go about their daily lives better than the way they were at the beginning.
We're kind of Oz, the man behind the curtain, so to speak, and it's a cool place to be in.
Yeah, and that's a cool way to think about it. That's definitely cool. I just heard somebody told me that you're doing virtual reality for issues that are happening out in the field. So that is really cool. So tell us a little bit about what that looks like.
Yeah. So the virtual reality we use, it's called a HoloLens. And what it does is allows us to make a 3D model, kind of like a hologram, and be on a video conference call with the customer. And while they're out at the machine looking at it, that we can also be going through our 3D engineering software in this conference call in a lifestyle view. And it's a one-to-one scale. So it brings up the hologram that's a one-to-one scale of the machine. And it allows us to step-by-step use that to help understand what the customer is talking about, and also be able to work through our 3D model and help them understand the internal components and really get to the root of the issues. And the biggest thing for the packaging industry and manufacturing, it's the uptime. The amount of time that you're able to produce product means that you're going to put that much product out on the shelf. So using the tool to help our customers maintain their manufacturing capabilities is something that we've really grown into.
Mm-hmm. And how exciting, and especially keeping all of you safe during this time as well, as you're still able to provide that level of customer support.
So that's really what we do here, and support built in is the big driver here at Morrison. So I think there's something special that you see within a lot of companies, but especially at Morrison, is we are all pushed and focused on what can we do to make the customer's life better? How can we be a true partner? And that's something that is from the top down and the bottom up. Everybody from the shop floor to the engineering floor to our leadership team is constantly focused on that. And for us, when COVID hit, our customers are worried about keeping their equipment up so that they can get hand sanitizers out there, or get Clorox wipes out there. And for us to be able to deliver remote support is just an extension of who we are and our DNA.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. And, I'm interested, are you exporting any of your machines or customized machines across the world?
We are actually, yes. So in conjunction with the coronavirus test kits, there was one machine that went to Perth, Scotland. There was another machine that went to Wesel, Germany, to help things over in Europe as far as the demand for test kits. We are currently working on a project to send a machine to Poland, and there's a duplicate of that machine that handles Wrigley gum containers, and in Germany as well, or that one's in France, my apologies. But there are a lot of things that are international. Some of our individual components of just like our smaller timing screws is what drives the product. Those go internationally to a number of different countries. We do a lot of work in Canada. We do some work in Mexico. So it's cool that a company that is of our size and for what we do to be able to touch projects around the world.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. And of course, I'm interested, are either of you able to travel to some of those global sites?
Yes, not currently right now, but in time that both of our jobs, there's a demand for us to go be with the customer, and it's one of those that the cool part about manufacturing is that every person has an expertise. Every person has their ability to make that impact and answer the question to the best of their ability. So it's everybody within the company at any point in time. If you're the right person for the job to make that travel, and you're the right person to address the customer's concerns, that anybody is open to that type of scenario.
Yeah, that's fun. And of course, all of our students want to know that, of course, is there the ability to travel. And because it's customized machines, you may have a virtual session, and obviously post-COVID, there'll be an opportunity to travel globally, without a doubt. Okay, yeah. Good. How about apprenticeships at Morrison Container? Are there any current apprenticeship programs that you're kicking off? And if you are, what do those look like?
So we are constantly hiring at Morrison and looking for interns or types of programs like that where we can work through any type of skilled labor to engineers or marketing. We have a really clean environment. That's something that, you know, I think manufacturing can tend to get a little bit of a bad rap, so to speak, but you know, the environments are really clean here and we take pride on that in our facility. But we have interns from, you know, people that are on the shop floor doing assembly to CNC, assembly engineers, and marketing. I mean, I think that within manufacturing, we tend to think it might only be building or it might only be designing, but we have finance departments and marketing departments that also need apprentices and interns as well.
Mhm, mhm. Good, and a question has come in, interesting question. Tell us what your title is, each of you. What do you do at Morrison Container? What is a day in the life of your position? Go ahead, let's start with you.
Okay, so I'm our marketing communications manager, and as far as what qualifications I did to obtain my job, I have a marketing degree. It was something that I studied in school, and I actually came from the world of advertising. I never thought that I would be within the world of manufacturing, but I applied for the job and I grew up on the shop floor. My dad runs a small collision repair shop on the south side of Chicago. So working for a family business or within that environment in the Southland was always something that was kind of in my DNA. And I found Morrison and I thought it was just incredibly cool to be a part of something bigger, to realize that there's marketing roles in all facets. It's not just about how do you get people to buy more ketchup, but how do you get people to buy the equipment that moves the ketchup? And it was a quite interesting challenge, but every day I come in and no day ever looks the same. I'm running around taking video for our customers so that they can see their machines run, and then I'm turning around and sending out a press release or an email blast to try and get more customers interested in something new that we're doing. And I'm working with guys on the shop floor that are building things, and then I'm working with engineers to help produce a user manual. So it's cool to see no 2 days look the same for me.
Excellent.
Yeah, I had a degree in marketing and that was my qualification. Yeah, so I'll let him.
So I'm our aftermarket sales and service manager. I initially joined the company in the field of sales, but prior to being here, I was in education, and I got turned on to manufacturing because I saw a very similar pattern. It was one of those to where we wanted to cultivate the education of manufacturing within the industry to continue to let the industry grow. So I made the transition to Morrison here, and since that took hold of the aftermarket department, which encompasses our field service engineering team, who are the team members who go out into the field and fix the equipment for the customers after we've sent it out to them, whether it's 3, 4, 5 years down the line. And the qualification for that was a bachelor's degree, but I was able to walk into the company and assume the role of sales, which did not take a bachelor's degree, but with my ability to understand the mechanical concepts and continue to push to learn 3D softwares to help bridge the gap between engineering and assembly, it was something that allowed my role to develop into this management position.
Excellent.
I think we really thrive here at Morrison off of within manufacturing, we thrive off of the people who are doing those skilled trades such as CNC or manual lathe or those types of things. I think that there's just as much of a demand for those jobs more than ever because we don't have people who might seem quite as interested in them, and we're constantly looking for them too. So as far as qualifications go, it just, you know, studying something that you're interested in and understanding how it can play into a larger scope of things is super important.
Mm-hmm.
I think that one of the big things that we try to emphasize is that the market for skilled labor out there is very small. So there's a high demand, especially within manufacturing right now, for somebody who can operate a 3-axis CNC mill. There's a lot of engineering and just mechanical knowledge that goes into understanding how to make a complex part that allows our complex solution to work for the customer. So it's more than just taking a wrench and putting two things together. That having that education of these skilled jobs within the trades are something that is very highly touted with us, and it's hard for us to find right now. So there's definitely a demand for those types of positions, especially in our local area.
The possibilities are endless within a manufacturing facility.
Excellent. And so when we think about CNC equipment, you're right, it does take a certain level of skill. What type of on-the-job training do you provide with new hires, for example?
Oh, for the new hires, especially down in the shop, we put them with an experienced team member, because though even if you have some sort of education and understand the way that CNC works, that putting them with one of our most useful resources within the shop to provide that on-the-job training is something that we like to do, just so that they have the ability to learn on their own, but also have a comfortable resource that has the right answer.
Excellent. And some of the other questions that we had with our first sessions, do you use computer-aided design or CAD? And if you do, how does that incorporate into your daily life there at Morrison?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. We do use CAD, and we use Inventor, which is a CAD software. So the Inventor is the 3D modeling software, and CAD is obviously 2D. So CAD, it works on all ends. It works on our applications portion, which is before we supply a quote to a customer for a machine. We always provide an AutoCAD layout, a general generalized concept of what we're trying to provide, so that we can create clarity and community, or communicate that with our customer. And then from that point, the AutoCAD, where it's the most important, is where it gets into our print packages. We make detailed prints of each part that we make, and we share those with our customers so that they understand what that part is and how it functions and how it fits in with the entire assembly, or wherever it goes. And then those print packages are also what we send down to the manufacturing floor. They get uploaded into the CNC machines, to where then we can collect all the data points and make sure that we are making the parts to a T within a tolerance. And then from that point, our assembly team also uses those CAD prints to assemble, and so we can test those machines in the shop here.
Excellent. I want to go ahead and show another video, and then come back and see if we've got some questions. So all the students out there, if you have some questions, go ahead. Even though we're going to watch a short video, start to populate the questions for us. Excellent. All right, some questions have come in. How long have you been doing this job, and what came to your interest to even start it? Great question. How did you land there?
I'll let you start.
So I, like I said, it was an education, and I actually knew a person here at Morrison, so obviously the resource was really good. But I think the thing that most interested me in wanting to be here was exactly like the video you just saw, right? It was another one of those that I walk through my daily life and understand how something gets manufactured and put on the shelf, and the behind the scenes. So I grab the Coffee Mate off the shelf, and I think to myself more than just, oh, I want creamer. How did this happen? What lengths did it go through to get here? And I just think that being able to affect production and everything on a nationwide scale daily basis is something that it adhered to me.
Mhm.
For me, I have been here about a year and a half now. And like I said, I never thought about manufacturing at all until I had graduated grad school, and I was just looking to kind of change things up, and this job landed across an opportunity. And once I figured out what Morrison did and the impact that we had, and I wanted to do something a little bit more, then I wanted to work for a company that not only cared about their customers, where that was in their DNA, but because as a marketer, you can only be successful if you're working at a company that cares about those things, but got to see how things were made and see kind of the behind the scenes aspect and get to play a role in that. So
Mhm.
I just thought that was really interesting, and Morrison became a great fit from there.
Mhm. So another great question has come in regarding lean manufacturing. So thinking outside of the box or doing value-added services or processes. Talk to us about what Morrison Containers doing with lean.
Yeah, so we started Lean about 20 years ago. It's something that we've always really focused on at Morrison. And we actually, with our timing screw operations, have started some value stream mapping as of last week. And we're preparing for kata training in the next month. So it's something that we're always trying to see, how can we do things better? How can we do things more efficiently? And that's just kind of the constant focus, I would say, here.
Mhm. Mhm. And how about, since we're on the topic of lean, how about Six Sigma? Do you do any Six Sigma methodologies?
Yeah, that is something that we have used in the past. That we are using kind of like
Nothing formal.
a brother sister type scenario of that. So it's a little bit different and it has a different name to it. But those are all items that that's how we get our process improvement. Those are the things that we need to look at on our everyday scale of how are we impacting the world around us, but also how are we also being able to improve our internal efficiencies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and process improvement, without a doubt. What's adding value for your customer?
All right, guys, we only have like a minute left, so I'm going to we're going to stop that for now. But yeah, they talked a lot about CNC. That's computer numerical control. Yeah, if you have a CNC background, you'll definitely have no problem finding a job. Being able to operate that, and how they use CAD. They mentioned AutoCAD. They mentioned Inventor. They use both of those programs, 3D modeling software. So that's pretty cool. And how they take a layout drawing and use it and upload it into a CNC machine to manufacture something. So we'll probably continue with this a little bit tomorrow. I'm going to go through some of those programs as well. And but yeah, hopefully you got something out of it. If you got any questions, let me know. If not, I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. All right, see you guys.
Mr. Comer, I sent you an email. I saw it's like this class recording. Could you please send it to me so I can rewatch it? Because it was like buffering stuff. Thank you so much.
Yep. Gotcha. Okay.